I watch music with such girlishly rider energy. I mean, I'm really like, dude, that looks so fun. Comedy is like the strip down of that, except for like Def Jam and a couple of like certain comics. But it's not a braggadocious like
ego thing.
Swing your cock thing. It's most to be like, hey, I've looked stupid here. Have you ever felt stupid? Have you ever done this dumb thing I've done? It's a lot of that. But like music, you get to go up there and, even you're a guy who goes home later and, takes a nasty shit and his breath stinks. Like at one point when he's on stage, he's in a position where you're like, this guy's a god, dude. Like he's controlling these people with like very calculated microphone holds and the way he looks at the crowd. I think that's awesome. I'm so intrigued by that. That's 100%. Why I love Marilyn Manson so much. I'm like, yo, this guy's doing Broadway up there.
Bro.
It's crazy. Now he's a fat guy in a vest.
Yeah, he's getting a little fat. Yeah, dude, he's got a gut.
I brought... He's my favorite ever.
Is he really?
Performers-wise.
Oh,
man. And I love his music, too, but, like, I think the last few years have been whatever. But his original, like, first 5 or 6 albums even are pretty amazing. And the way he changed, like, through them. But, man, by the time me and my girlfriend, like, were dating, it's been a long time now, but, like, he was already past his prime. And the 2 times I took her to see him, like, the first time, he did, like, okay. And she tried to be like, because she knows how much I like love him. She was like, it was really good. And I was like, and she likes the music too, but I was like, it wasn't. I feel bad because I've showed you on videos and whatever, like what this guy used to be, and that wasn't it. Then we went to, like a year later, the Chicago Open Air Festival, it was called. It was like a 3-day tour or something, but the night I was able to go, like Marilyn Manson was one of the headliners. And so we go and watch him there. And so this is a soccer field of some sort in Chicago. And it's huge, and the stage has enormous screens next to it. And he comes out and starts playing, his set, and it's like you already tell it's just not the energy of when he was younger. He's an older guy now, I guess, but he came out, and they're just the big screens filming is just straight up his fat, rolly neck, and it just looks bad, and you're like, damn, dude. And even when he was like ugly when he was younger, there was something like artistically like beautiful about it. It was like he's so cool in this goofy outfit, but he's like doing such a cool thing. And when I said before, I've seen this guy do so much gross shit before, and it was cool, nasty shit that I would be like puke if I saw it. But I mean, like exactly like blowing snot rockets. He's pissed himself on stage before that I watched, but he draws like attention to it where he's like, I don't give a fuck kind of thing. And you're like, yeah, dude. This guy, he's on that thing. He's got the neck going, and they're shooting him. And when that song, that militant like song is playing, and he's trying to do the televangelist, thing, he's doing, and he goes and blows a snot rocket. And it just catches his lip like this, and the crowd. I mean, it's a soccer stadium, and everybody goes, "Oh!" He has no idea how close that is on the big screen. And they go, oh. And then the cameras pull away from that, like go to something else to just go for something else. And then for like 5-6 seconds, and then it goes back to him. And when it cuts back to him, he's doing this thing. He's trying to blow it off with his lips. And I just remember looking at my girlfriend just like going like,
this is not him. I'm sorry.
That open air festival was also one of the hardest. I think am I just filibustering? Are you guys supposed to ask questions that I'm not answering?
No, this is why we're here.
Rambling.
This is why we're here. Rant City, we call it.
Once we get to snot rockets, that's where we like to be.
Oh, that's what this is our comfort zone.
I in that same festival, I made another ass of myself because of a dumb thing. But this is well before I went on tour with Korn in like 2000 something, early. My friend Craig Gass, who's a comedian who was very in with like musician, like bands. He had some like kind of tie into like you can get backstage to shows and stuff. It was awesome. One time he took me to a Pledge of Allegiance tour, which was Rammstein, System of a Down, Korn, and Slipknot. Actually, not it was System of a Down, Rammstein, and
There's a lot of skinny white children in that crowd.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And Slipknot was the main act. So we were backstage talking to some, like, lighting guy that Craig knows. And it was, I mean, now, as like years gone by, it is more like the musicians, but it was always that. He's like, hey, sorry, we got to miss the encore. We have to go say hi to my friend Tyler, who does the fog machine for whatever. Yeah, you're like, dude, what? And I'm sitting there, and then I just kind of look over to the right, and I see waiting by a door is Max Weinberg, the drummer for the E Street Band, Bruce Springsteen, for always, and the drummer for Conan O'Brien for a bunch of years. He was the leader of that band on the show. And Max Weinberg's there with his son, who's, I mean, a little 12, and he's dressed in the full Slipknot, look with the dreads and everything coming off it. Yeah, and I'm just watching this, and I'm like, I see Corey Taylor,
wow,
the lead singer, comes
mask
out.
on or off?
Off. I didn't know it was, I had to find out it was him.
Yeah, I think.
But he comes out. But he comes out, and he goes, Max Weinberg, it's a pleasure to meet you. And then he sees Max Weinberg's like, it's nice to meet you. My son is a humongous like fan of you guys, obviously. And whatever, he's like, what's up, little buddy? You know, he's giving like a nice like head rub on the thing, and probably takes a picture. I don't even know. All I remember is him just being like, you know, acknowledging the little kid there, and I'm like, what a neat thing for that kid. Skip ahead a zillion years, I go on tour with Korn and everything, and then maybe like a year or two after, not a little more than that, maybe like 2 years, 3 years after, they came around to on tour with Slipknot, Korn. So I was like, oh, you know, I asked the drummer, I'm like, I'll come see you and hang out. So me and him and my girlfriend are watching. Korn went on first, and then he was like, meet me in the sound booth and we'll watch Slipknot. Great. Awesome. We're sitting and watching Slipknot, and the drummer from Korn, Ray Luzier, goes, this drummer is like unreal in this band. He goes, they got to keep him, because the original drummer was kicked out of the band. Joey Jordison, yeah, he's dead now, but they kicked him out before. But he was out, and they were using like touring drummers, and this was one of the touring drummers. But the Korn drummer was like, they should sign him to this band because they're going to lose him to somebody else if they don't. And like, you know, that had no effect on me, and like it didn't weigh on me. I was like, crazy. You know,
Yeah,
like,
crazy.
like that's nuts. What nice drum rumors, you know. I didn't know we were spilling all the drummer tea. And then he goes, and then he just goes, yeah, it's actually Max Weinberg's kid.
Shut the.
I went, yo, dude. And I go, will you believe? And I tell him the whole story, what happened. He's like, that's crazy. And I'm like, that's insane. That's so insane.
It really was.
So,
his kid?
yeah. So many years later, not even many after that, but several years later, I'm at this Chicago Open Air Festival. They gave us backstage passes, but I don't, you know, you don't want to be a bothersome thing at all. We just wanted to watch the show. Mm-hmm. So the only time it made sense to go backstage, I was like, oh, I got to piss. Let's not wait in line. Let's go backstage, go to the bathroom. I only see one rock star back there, Jay Weinberg, Max Weinberg's son, who's in Slipknot. I'm like, this is unreal. I got to tell him this story, because he knows that moment. Because I know since he's posted pictures of that night where he's like, isn't it crazy? I met these guys. So I'm walking over and tell him, I get intercepted. He gets intercepted, I should say, by a couple that starts talking to him. And he's listening to them like very nicely, like kind of hearing whatever they're saying. And I'm looming, which I hate. And I felt it. I've seen people have done it to me, and I know I'm doing it where you're just like,
Waiting around.
yeah, he knows I'm waiting to like say something. He feels it. My girlfriend's going, she's like, cut it. And I go, I know. I understand completely how this looks. I go, but this story is too, if someone was doing this to me and when it came up time, the story was like that amazing, I'd go,
It's worth it.
you know, if somebody was like, dude, I sat behind you for entire, and now I'm seeing you perform it or wherever.
You're like, I have to tell you this.
The couple walks away after like a weird amount of time, and he starts walking, even though he kind of knew I was waiting to talk to him. So I start walking next to him. I go, Jay Weinberg, right? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, it's nice to meet you. I go, I want to hold you, but I have a crazy, crazy thing that my friend Craig asked, and blah, blah, blah. We're at the thing. And, you know, he goes, I see backstage is Max Weinberg. Oh, hey, you meet Corey Taylor. Anyway, yeah, I'm a comedian. I go on tour with Korn. Blah, blah, blah. I'm with the drummer from Korn. He goes, they got to keep this guy. He's an amazing drummer. It's Max Weinberg's son. And he goes, we were walking the entire time, and he just goes, cool, man. And I'm walking inside of a door. I'm like, I go, are you, what? I go, that's insane. And then he goes, and then someone said to me that put it into perspective, which maybe he's right. He goes, yeah, he's like Max Weinberg's son, so he's probably not like, he kind of knew he was going to be in a band that he wanted to be. I still think he should have given it much more than he gave it, but like, maybe he's jaded a little bit or something. 'Cause I've always heard he's like a really nice guy, but like, and he wasn't even a dick. He was just like, oh,
Very
cool, man. And I'm like, no. It's
That's
more
not
than
enough,
that, dude.
yeah.
I happened to be in a hallway,
Watching it
6
go
degrees
down.
of whatever that put me in that hallway at that moment for no reason.
Yeah.
I could have been outside and not seen the whole thing. He just goes, wait here while I piss. And I see that whole interaction of the first time you meet the band, when you were a child that you were currently in, yeah, I'm going to stop making excuses for him. He deserved more.
150%.
He should have given that a lot more than he gave it.
I'm sorry, dude. I would have jumped up, like, I gotta take a piss, but I'll be right back. Let's talk. Hell no. I won't say who, but.
Yeah, we got to take a picture together.
Bro, something, but.
I would have been like, I've told that story on stage. I've told that story. He was like, great. And I'm like, yo, that's wild.
Nobody else on earth has ever said this to you.
No, yeah, I have.
You gotta respect synchronicity like that.
You
and,
have
like
to.
You
coincidence.
should.
Or whatever.
That's
Yeah.
a
You
really
have
weird
to.
thing. How did our paths again? Also, how about right down to the wire of not backstage under any point that whole day, except at the time we went.
Yeah.
I gotta go take a piss. Let me run backstage. Let's go backstage and take a. We'll both go to the bathroom. And then he walks off the bus alone and starts walking. I was like,
Come on. it's
the
meant
other
to be.
couple was definitely probably
That got him.
somebody on the shoulder that was going like, put something on the shoulder, goes, don't tell him. He's gonna disappoint you when you tell him.
That's a bummer. I gotta be honest.
That's why I don't. That's why I don't. I mean, I haven't made any like heavy concerted effort to meet Marilyn Manson, is because I'm like, what could he do but let me down?
Perfect.